Hey, it is Rachel, and in my latest podcast episode, I talked about how to encourage children to think more positively, even if right now they're really resistant to thinking positively. But in this video, I actually want to talk about something related but a little bit different, because I want you to become comfortable with your kids not being positive, or more specifically, with your kids being upset or frustrated or disappointed. Because what I hear so often is that as parents, we are not enforcing boundaries because our kids are getting so upset when we try to do that, or we're getting upset with them for being upset when we enforce boundaries. For example, maybe you want your kids to work a little bit harder on their homework, but because they get upset when you tell them to, you stop enforcing that boundary. Or maybe you tell them that they have to go to their grandparents' house, but they don't want to, they get really upset, they get frustrated, they get disappointed, and you don't like that they're whining and complaining, so you get upset with them. But here's the reality. They are going to get upset when they come across boundaries. When we are firm, they're going to get upset. And we have to expect that they're going to get upset, that they are going to act like children. In reality, when we expect that they're going to act like that, it doesn't take as much of our energy. We don't get sucked in, and the situation resolves much more quickly and easily and with a lot less energy from us. The other reason it's important not to get upset when they're upset is because ultimately what fosters resilience in children is them having these feelings of upset and frustration and disappointment and realizing they can handle those feelings. How do they learn that they can handle those feelings? Well, when they're around an adult who can handle those feelings. So let's go back to that example where you tell your children that they have to go to their grandparents' house and they don't want to, and you're hearing the whining and the complaining and maybe some things you don't like to hear. What you want to do is recognize that that's going to come and not be so upset. Just maintain your firmness and don't engage with them too much. They're releasing their upset and it will end. And what happens is when it ends and we still maintain that boundary, what they've learned is that, okay, I still have to do what mom and dad ask, and I can handle the feelings that came up when I heard that I had to do something I didn't want to do. That is resilience. On the other hand, when they get really upset and whine and complain and say things that we don't like, when we tell them they have to go to their grandparents, and we get upset with them and we say, well, you knew you'd have to go to your grandparents. I told you that 2 days ago. What they learn is not only do they have these feelings when they hit a boundary, but then we get mad at them for having the feelings. And they learn that they don't want to have those feelings, and that is the opposite of resilience. Ultimately, we need to show them that we can handle those feelings if we want them to learn that they can handle those feelings. Now, a lot of people will say to me, but Rachel, the way they handle their feelings is disrespectful, or it's immature, it's not something they can do later in life. I absolutely agree with that, but here's what I will tell you. As someone who's been teaching emotional regulation to children for over a decade, I will tell you, it starts with us. We need to model what it looks like to be okay when things aren't going exactly the way that we want, if we want to teach our children that they need to act more mature when things aren't going the way they want. We show them that we can handle their feelings. They learn that they can handle their feelings. So even though this week's podcast episode is about teaching them to think more positively, just remember you can handle whatever comes up and you can still maintain your boundary without getting sucked in. If you do want to hear my latest podcast episode, you can find that on my website, rachel-bailey.com/87, and I'll be back again soon with more tips for you. Take care.